Tzvi Lebetkin, the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring that little bell. Ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop. So there is a supply and demand problem. I've said this more than once. There is a supply and demand problem in the Western world for a surprisingly large section of the Western world. What is that supply and demand problem? The supply and demand problem is racism, right? Without one might want to think, the supply and demand problem is there's not enough, there's too much racism and we want more, not racism. No, the supply and demand problem is more this. People really, really, really want there to be racism, and they can't really find racism. It's a little bit tricky to locate, right? It's hard to come across. Which is a bit weird because we're told across the media that we live in a deeply racist world. And I don't really understand it because in 2015 we didn't live in a deeply racist world. So what happened? What essentially happened is this. Brexit and Donald Trump. Oh, actually, no, what essentially happened was this. The progressive side of the world pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed and progressed and progressed and progressed and screwed up and screwed up and screwed up and made the world much worse. We don't really remember now, but towards the second term of Obama was awful, right? Was absolutely, the economy was in the toilet. The economy was absolutely in the toilet. We had the biggest mass migration in human history, caused directly through Obama's meddling, bungling in Iraq, and it brought a massive slew of Muslim refugees across Europe, and resulting in a massive clash of cultures, which then you weren't allowed to talk about because then you were racist. But what was really going on is you were criticizing the liberal worldview again, saying, "Oh no, wait, this doesn't really work out. No, now you're racist. Now you're racist." So they really believed in racism a lot, and that's the thing that explained everything. But then there was pushback in terms of Brexit. Brexit, I think, really happened more than anything else because of immigration policy, because there was a wave of people from a fundamentally different culture, a culture where there is no pluralism, right? There is no live and let live, and there just isn't. And I know that's hard for you to accept in the West, but there isn't. I'm not saying they're evil, bad people. I'm saying they come from a qualitatively different culture. I'm saying they call you evil, bad people for not having their morals. But that's it. Now, of course, I'm not talking about the Muslim communities that grew up and lived in the Western world. Basically, I have found when you have anybody of any ethnicity grow up in England, they become English, right? Shooty Gatwo, great example, absolutely great example. But anyway, so there was pushback against this relentless progressivism that was causing disaster upon disaster and destroying the economy. So Brexit happened and Donald Trump happened. To which the progressives said, "Oh my God, it's worse than we thought. They're racist everywhere. They won elections because they're racist." Now, the horrible truth is people like Nigel Farage and Donald Trump, it's like nice truth, I don't think are racist. I don't think they've ever indicated any racism whatsoever. And if they have, let me know. I don't know about Farage much. I can tell you about Trump. I watched him very closely because I thought it'd be freaking hilarious. Okay, it's my that's my naughty sense of humor. I thought it'd be absolutely hilarious. And everything they used to say he was racist. Remember the time when they said he was mocking a guy with a reporter with a handicap, like a spinal. I can't remember because Trump talked about it and he said, "Oh, I don't know." They froze the picture and it made him look like they was taking the piss. But that's the way he acts. He acted. Anybody who didn't. By the way, I'm not going to pretend he was presidential. He wasn't. Okay, he was a great president, but he wasn't presidential. We haven't had a presidential president since, I don't know, Reagan, maybe. Who knows? Anyway. They were convinced that racism was the only reason it's happened. But what was really going on, if you scratch below the surface one level, you saw them seeing the fallacy of their worldview, right? Because just look at reality. We had miserable economy, miserable policies during Obama. It was a nightmare, right? Trump comes in, insane. I mean, like, we had an insanely best economy ever, right? Ever. And now Biden's in. However you want to say he won that election, he definitely won the election. However you want to say he did it. And it's an absolute disaster. It's the worst economy ever. We have world wars, we have misery, we have global hunger, we have global famine in the Western world. So their worldview has fallen apart, right? So I've really noticed when one's worldview completely falls apart, people don't get red pilled. They just double and triple and quadruple down. Now we have people like Ncuti Gatwa, Rusty Davis, pretty much everybody in the entertainment industry really totally believes the narrative of racism and people aren't being seen, and they think it's real, even though the objective truth of the real of it. Like, have you ever met anybody who doesn't like black people because they're black? I haven't. They're a blank out. And if I did, I'd be like, ew. Like, no one has. I mean, I'm sure some of it has, but it's so incredibly rare and weird, right? What do you think? There's more people in the world. Do you think they're more genuine racists, or do you think they're more people who believe the Earth is flat? I think it's kind of comparable, really. I mean, who knows? Anyway, so there's a problem now because Ncuti Gatwa, who you might have noticed, is black, right? Ncuti Gatwa's black. And by the way, one of the good things about the BLM riots is I don't say coloured anymore. I always felt very patronising when I say coloured. I can say black again, which because that's what. But there's an expression of there must be, if we live in a racist world, there must be people going, no. And there are people probably watching this video, right? Who I'm not going to call racist, because they're mostly not, I think, who don't like his casting because they think the character is intrinsically white. I'm not of that point of view. I'm respectful of that point of view, right? But that's basically where we are, right? I don't call somebody a racist because they disagree with me, right? There's real demand for racism, and they can't find it because if they can't find racism, then they might be wrong, and that's the thing they don't want more than anything else. So we've got a few articles to look at. I'm not sure how we're going to get to. One is really fascinating. Right? One is really fascinating. Before we get to it, can you hit the like button, the share button, the subscribe button? All that is a Fandabby. And yes, you guessed it. A Fandabby, a double dose of you. Like, share, subscribe, comment. Let me know what you think. Sign up my Substack. Sign up my paid Substack. Why should you sign up my paid Substack? There's no reason, okay? I've given up trying to give a reason. I have no reason. I've been trying to get stuff sent out to them. I was going to say all week. For weeks! It's what, the 12th of May? And I realised I need to send something out on April. That's how long I've been trying desperately, and I failed every day. So why should you sign up to my paid Substack? Shits and giggles. I don't. Look, your money's basically worthless now anyway. What's the difference? So, we could look at it that way. Fine, I'm coming over. Let's look at this first article. And it comes from a source that never, ever disappoints when looking for insanity. The Mary Sue. The Mary Sue. God bless him. Love him to death. Wacism is always right on time with black casting announcements, and it's exhausting. Okay. Here's what I think's really going on, right? I think black people are being used as tokens by disgusting, elite, super wealthy liberals, so they don't feel that they're disgusting, elite, super wealthy liberals. I think that's basically it. And also, there is, if I was going to say where the more racist attitudes is on the left side they are, the right side they are, it's 100% on the left, okay? It's 100%. People who skew left politically, they generally speaking dumb down their speech when they're talking to black people or non-white people because we got to help these poor little. Yeah, they genuinely believe that black people can't work out how to get ID. to take to vote. They don't think they're racist about it. They don't believe it, but they genuinely believe that, and they think you think that too. And here's what they think: they think everybody's really racist like them, right? They do. These liberties, they generally think you are, but they think they acknowledge it so they can control it. But you're not even acknowledging it, you disgusting right-wing person. That's what's going on in their diseased minds, right? So we have a lot of people, black people, who have grown up for years and years and years and years with the relentless drumbeat that they are oppressed. You are oppressed. And I'm sure every black person, like every minority, experiences some form of racism, right? I'm sure. But you just need a tiny pinprick to substantiate this entire sea of bigotry that you think the Western world is. It's not. Again, and I think the evidence is that it's hard to find somebody who's really, really racist. But yeah, on the other side of the argument, which I want to be fair, because I don't think I am a racist. Nobody thinks they're. I think maybe the KKK think they're racist people, right? I don't think I'm a racist, but I don't think anybody is, right? I'm projecting onto everybody else. Is that the same? I mean, is that what's going on with me? And I'm blinding myself to it. I don't know. I would love. I reached out to a prominent person, a prominent black person in fandom who retweeted a video I did this week where I said, "Is it racist to think the character of the Doctor is intrinsically Caucasian?" Right? And it made so many people mad by just asking that question. I don't think it is, but I think there are people who think that, and I don't think they're bad people. Well, there's good people on both sides. Never say that. That's never going to work out well, right? But so I'm reaching out to this guy. Hopefully, he'll come on the channel. I'd love to talk to him about this, right? Because my fundamental point of view is this: we've had a good 5 years in fandom where identity has been weaponized to silence criticism, very legitimate criticism, and people have been called racist who aren't. And I think most resistance to shooters casting comes from living under that dark shadow of Chibnall Whittaker and their awful toxic fan base for the last 5 years, right? And people are just like, no more, I can't do any more. I think that's where it's mostly coming from, right? I think it is. But anyway, so we have this person who is convinced the reason that anybody doesn't want Shooty or whoever this is from, whatever it is because they don't like black people. They don't think. And I want to be clear. All right, I got one thing sent to me. Can I find it? Right, one piece of racist. Because I asked people to please send me racist stories. Right, I really want to be able to see them. Who was it that sent it to me? So there was a comment on the. There was a comment from a video somebody put out about it, and the comment is. And this is not me, okay? BLM has also probably got something to do with this. People of color getting into everything now. I hate that. That's just, I don't know who wrote that. That's genuinely racist, right? That's so stupidly racist. It actually comes out in the mouth of the stupid racist character from Rosa, right? Who was written with no reality whatsoever. You people are getting a bit too ahead of yourself, bit too up with you. I'm like, oh God, I hated that character because they had no freaking motivation and wasn't real at all, right? Wasn't real. However, that one pinprick justifies all what we're about to read, right? In the mind of the writer. And who, again, I think has been brought up with this victim mentality to say that they are intrinsically oppressed. I honestly, if they are, I will march with you. I would. There's nobody should be judged in any way, positively or negatively, because they're immutable characteristics. And it's just weird that people do, but I think most people who are doing it are over here. Fine. I hate how I'm never surprised by this. Right? Where'd they go? A couple of days ago, we got to see the main trio in the upcoming Percy Jackson Olympian series on Disney Plus. Now, Disney Plus is a hateful organization. It's like Disney is actually trying to reshape society into a socialist nightmare, some kind of like a Chinese style socialist nightmare, and destroy any idea of family or traditional values. And so for them, it's very important that characters that are white, and I don't know if are there any intrinsic white characters. I think there are a few. I think James Bond is an intrinsically white character, right? Because I think he's from the aristocracy, the English aristocracy, which were all white, right? Unless you want to like do something, out of the box with it. That's what the character is. So yeah, Disney Plus I wouldn't trust as far as I could throw them. Which includes Leah Savage Jeffries as Annabelle. Shortly after the announcement that we also learned that Ncuti Gatwa sex education was going to be the 14th Doctor in Doctor Who. Okay. As a black woman, I've been involved in fandom spaces for decades. You know, I could turn this off. Oh, so much better. Right. Fan spaces for decades. I had 2 reactions. OMG, yes! Well, okay, I mean, listen, I do, I can understand why somebody would be happy about a black Doctor Who, right? Because it is a major part. It's a very culturally significant part. And there's been, 13 of them, and there hasn't been a black one yet, which, you get a pass for the first 20, 30 years, yeah, but first 20 years, but I thought you're in the 80s. Like, I really think the JNT should have hired somebody black instead of Colin Baker. I think he probably would have got a much better actor and really renewed the series with it. But yeah, okay, fine, I can understand that. How long before the racist takes crop up? And I want to see what you're saying is a racist take. The answer, a couple of seconds, and that's me being generous. Well, it is if you label everything as being racist, right? It's amazing, isn't it? Yeah, I bet this is exactly the same person who refuses to call anti-Semitism, right? Refused to say Jeremy Corbyn was anti-Semitic and said the anti-Semitic tropes that Jews were making up, the very factual point that Jeremy Corbyn has a lifetime of anti-Semitism, of bias against groups consisting of solely Jews, right? Which I think comes from socialism, quite frankly. Socialism has always kind of hated Jews. Karl Marx was super racist, by the way. Karl Marx hated black people and Jews. They want to get them both out of their utopian society. Like, he was super racist. That blew me away. So many things have been, I was going to say the word whitewashed, but yeah, whitewashed by progressives. But wait, didn't they just pick the best person for the job? I think they kind of did with Ncuti, quite frankly. I think it was, he brings in a big audience. He's going to bring in a new crowd. I think his black was certainly a factor. You know, people want to feel virtuous. That there's certainly that. But I think he just gave an incredible audition. I hope they release that on the Blu-ray whenever that comes out. Well, I've come to expect that downright awful comments that get hurled at black folks in nerd space. I've never seen it. I've never ever seen it, and if it's reprehensible if it happens. But yeah, but being somebody who's been called a racist for the last few days because I asked the question, because I basically advocating for people in my audience who I didn't think were racist, but they weren't happy about it. Maybe everybody thinks called racist. But the incredible thing is they won't call actual genuine racism. That always blows me away. And in fact, they will indulge very quickly in the genuine racism. Like it takes about that long before it comes out. In those ways, there's something to be said about the remarks that they try their hardest not to sound racist. So this is what I got hit with a lot, right? You're just hiding being racist. No! I'm having a conversation. The reason I'm having this conversation is, again, we've had a toxic fandom be abusive for 5 years, weaponizing identity, right? Weaponizing accusations of racism. And I think it's a conversation we need to have in fandom to be able to move forward, which we can do now, hopefully, right? If we have that conversation. It's not about skin color, you see, it's about the accuracy of the character according to the source material. Well, the argument is, that a lot of people have said in the comments is, would you like Danny Dyer as Black Panther? It would seem kind of ridiculous, right? It would seem kind of ridiculous. So the argument against that is, well, Black Panther is intrinsically black. His character is his skin color is a part of the character. Well, I think the skin color of James Bond is intrinsic to that character. You've got to have one standard to have any credibility. And if you don't, which they don't have, they have a massive double standard. It's it just doesn't, it just falls apart. What's interesting is the same courtesy isn't always given the reverse situation. If a white person is cast in a past that should go to a person of color, when? When did that happen in the last 20 years? When? Really? They thought they just picked the best person. I need a citation for that, right? When does that happen? I haven't seen anybody do anything in blackface or a character being whited up. I remember that first, the Ben Affleck Daredevil movie. You had a black guy playing Kingpin. I've never seen it go the other way. And listen, I'm happy to be wrong. I'm talking off the top of my bloody head. If you can think of a time when a black character was race swapped to be white, let me know, right? Wait, I got one. That Commander Ty from Battlestar Galactica was a black guy in the original one and was an Asian. Was he Boomer? No, Boomer was a black guy in the original one and became an Asian woman in the 2000 version. Okay, there you go. Also, Colonel Ty, wasn't Colonel Ty? Was he black as well? Blimey, Battlestar Galactica, bit racist maybe. You World D Moore, what's going on over there? Fine. So, okay, fine. But this was before 2015, the world wasn't racist. Weirdly enough, it only became racist when liberal progressives lost their complete control over society. Then it became racist. Maybe it's connected. Who knows? That excuse is used a lot when somebody asks why a character's ethnicity isn't being properly portrayed on screen. Give me some citation, please. Even if the source material depict him as being non-white. This happens with color castings where someone casts a lighter skinned actor for a darker skin. That character, oh, for God's sake. Really? Now we're subdividing in between skin tones of skin tones? It's good to view people as human beings as human beings. Really? It really is much better that way. And that's the way to get rid of racism, right? This is the way to make racism. I bet the generation we have coming up right now is going to be the most racist generation we've had in decades, absolute decades, because they've grown up in this skewed, insane world by being continually told that they're evil and racist, right? They are actually going to be the most racist generation for a long time. But if a person was picked for a job, why isn't the same logic applied when in this case 2 black actors get the part? Because the tokenism is very apparent. That's why. If this was 2017 and Shooty was cast, nobody would have raised an eyebrow, right? We've just gone through 5 years of relentless tokenism, all the way through media. You can't pretend it didn't happen, but they do, because of course they pretend it didn't happen, because then they would have to admit they did it. And they called that they were wrong. Fine. This also happens when the colorist castings. So we're talking about skin tones now. But if the person was picked for the job, if the best person picked for the job, why isn't the same logic applying? Okay, as Princess getting part, so we had 2 actors. We had Shooty and whoever this is in Percy Jackson. As our Princess Weeks writes in regard to Gatwa being cast as the next Doctor, I don't know who Princess Weeks is. People always talk about the fact that casting should come down to who the best person for the job is. And it certainly seems to that this is the case. I believe that, okay? I believe that, right? Gatwa is an award-winning actor who's been known for his dynamic personality and energy. The representation is without doubt incredible, and I think that it can be very much. I think it can be said that he is very much deserving this kind of opportunity. Showrunner Russell T. Davis writes. Yeah, so listen, I do think it was a factor. And yeah, in the past, we were racist, we were sexist in our media. Yes, I agree with you. You know, name my channel. The Rabbi from Another Planet comes from a movie called The Brother from Another Planet about an alien black guy who ends up on Earth during the 70s. It was made in the 70s. And he's like, geez, this is messed up. Right? This is all messed up. But that guy saw being interviewed one time. He said, yeah, when I was growing up as a kid, I was watching, I wanted to be like Jimmy Cagney or something. People I saw in the, in those old movies I never saw the black people in the movies who were like, yes, it must. Like they were all like these terrible roles. But now they're equally bad roles. Now, if you're a black man, normally speaking, in a production, you're going to be very, very effeminate, right? Black people, men are not allowed to be scary, which is just the way it is. I don't make the rules. I just look at them and go, this is the worst thing ever. He has talent. It was the most blazing audition. I hope they release that on social media, right? I hope we see that audition because I'm so freaking psyched for it. It was our last audition, the very last one. It's like, I love it when stories like that. We thought we had someone who came in and he stole it. David said, genuinely, I watched Sex Education. I loved his work and I didn't know quite what we were going to get until we were in the room. I have no idea, right? I have no idea, right? And that's really exciting to me, right? And meeting Shooty is just going to be a joy. I'm properly thrilled. This is going to be a blazing future, right? So I'm really, really excited about this. Fine. And yet here I am writing about the predictable backlash that always happens. I guess the best person job only applies if a certain kind of actor, huh? Well, again, this isn't my point of view, but the people who aren't happy with him feel that the skin color of the Doctor is it's been the same for 60 years. It seems to be, it is a change, right? It is a change. I can't argue with that. I don't think it's an issue, but I don't think it's saying if somebody's saying I don't want the Doctor to be black because I don't think a black person can be a hero. No, that's terrible, right? That is racist. They don't think a black person can be a science genius. No, that's racist, right? Yes. Okay, so the best person only applies. Okay, it seems like you got a bit of a chip in your shoulder. I don't know why, but let's see what they have to say. The unseasoned woke casting excuse. There's a lot of woke. I mean, again, pretending it isn't real isn't going to help you, right? Pretending it isn't real isn't going to help us move. Yes, there is a lot of woke casting. Have you seen Star Trek Discovery? Yeah, not many people have because it's garbage. Oh. In most cases, black actor gets a part that fandom has deemed white. Accusations of diversity hire, woke casting go flying around. You can set your watch by it, really. Well, yeah, again, we've had this dance before. So this is literally just racism. What does he say here? I click on this. Will this show me? It will take me to it. Now I'm kind of intrigued. Okay. Nothing. It's not even coming up. Hello? Nothing. Just get a blank page. Really? Maybe that's all the racism they can find. Okay. Well, oh, no, here it is. Now it's opening up. Oh, now it's giving me a little whizzy will, right? Okay, so this guy probably says something racist. Oh, here it is. That is opening up. Oh, come on. Too many tabs. When I do my live stream tonight, I got to remember not too many tabs open. So this is literally racism. Dr. Woke. Listen, I think that's more a reaction to Whittaker and Chibnall than anything else, right? Is it literal racism? No. I understand why it certainly feels like that way, but I don't think it is. And while I'd love to just brush this off, and trolls are going to troll, these trolls tend to take things to a distressing amount of harassment. So this is I wouldn't work out what this has to do with anything. This black girl who had a TikTok taken down or something, and it seems to be nothing to do with Doctor Who, right? What is interesting is when black folks address issues like racism, we're always depicted as the ones who need to calm down. Well, if there's no racism there, then yes, there is. But again, I'm always told to calm down when this actually happened today, right? Actually happened today. Somebody on Twitter had maliciously posted is it racist to think Doctor Who needs to be Caucasian thing, and like started a bit of a hate mob. Right? It happened a couple of days ago. I didn't really know about it, right? So somebody finally told me about it, and I addressed them. I sent the response I received. I had like hundreds of people on that video go, yes, it's racist, and I gave a well-reasoned response to them saying, yeah, maybe you want to think a little bit deeper to it. But so I said that, and we nobody wants to admit they're wrong, right? Nobody wants to say, and it didn't take him long at all before he started calling me a sexual deviant because a year or so earlier, there used to be a hate group called Nut My Doctor that hated me because I was funny and I made people laugh and I took the piss out of them, right? And so one time I was talking about Victoria Waterfield and I went, oh, Deborah Watling, I would like to bang her. And I would. I mean, like, not now, she's dead. And also I'm Jewish and she's not, and I'm married and she's dead, right? There's many reasons why I'm not going to sleep with Deborah Watling, right? Many reasons. But I would like to if those reasons weren't there, right? But anyway, that aside, they invented this thing saying I was a paedophile because Victoria, the character who played, was 15, which was nonsense. That was from a wiki based on a now out of print short story which incorrectly stated her age. She had a bit of a somebody came to me about a month or later and said who actually knew what I'm talking about. If you look at her costume, because she's a bit booby, there's no way she was 15 in that day and age. She was probably about early 20s, which seems to be what the production team were going for. Anyway, it took him like that, right? Like that before he wheeled out that accusation, which is a traditionally anti-Semitic, a traditionally racist trope to say, oh, this minority's coming after our children, he's a pervert, right? That's such a traditional thing to do, right? So I pointed out, then he blocked me, right? Then he instantly blocked me. And then somebody sent me what he'll say, oh, I decided to take the high ground, right? Take the high ground on this and not engage. You blocked me and you talk shit about me, mate, after you were racist, right? So I understand him not liking to hear that was traditionally anti-Semitic, even though it was. If you can make the case that something is racism, fine. But and I'm with you if it is, right? If you make that, I am so super with you, right? But I don't. You can make that case so easily. Meanwhile, the actual child being harassed on the internet because she gets to be in a Disney Plus series because it's not accurate to the book. People are really upset about the Percy Jackson thing. Again, I have no idea. But listen, it seems like a very contradictory worldview to me to say that black people are a marginalized group in society and they have a qualitatively different experience because of things you can't quantify, like unconscious bias. What's the other one they like? And dog whistles. Because they can't find any racism, they made up invisible racism to say, oh, look at that racism. What? That unconscious bias. Can you show it to me? No, you can't see it. So it's not there. Yes, it is, and you can't see it because you're racist. It's like, it's a circular argument, right? So fine, it's not accurate, but Rick Roydan wants the Jeffries in the book. Wants Jeffries to portray the character in the book. So Rick Roydan, I believe, is the writer of it. And I'm sorry, everybody in the entertainment industry, including the people creating things, like this tokenism, right? Like this race swapping tokenism. We got a TV adaptation of Sandman coming out. Neil Gaiman's Sandman, and it looks like it's going to be perfect. It looks like it's going to be a perfect adaptation of it. It looks fantastic. With the one thing that's going to stand out like a sore thumb, I'm going to look back at it in 10 years and go, oh, God, this is so embarrassing, which is Death is played by a black person. And it doesn't look like it works to me, right? It doesn't look like it looks like a fundamentally different character. So if you want to tell me that black people are marginalized, they have a fundamentally different worldview, then the characters are going to be fundamentally changed if you change the skin character, right? I can understand somebody getting uptight about it, but authors are super liberal, right? The publishing industry, super liberal and full of very weird things about identity that most people, generally speaking, do not agree with, right? So, yeah, okay. So you have this guy saying, it's he wants her to be the character. I think he's just trying to score woke points, frankly, right? And if he wanted her to be black, why didn't he write her like that? Okay, I mean, maybe he won't say, "If I wrote it today, I would have done." Well, let's see what he say. Anyone can be a hero. If you don't get that, if you're upset about the casting of this marvelous trio, then it doesn't matter how many times you've read the books, you didn't learn anything from them. I don't think anyone was saying, like, again, I have a problem with James Bond being black. Why? Because I think that fundamentally changes that character. Am I saying that a black person can't be a sexy super spy who can save the world? No! Of course, like, why would I say that? And I would like to see that movie, quite frankly. You know, who wouldn't? It sounds like a good movie, right? Make a series of them, right? I am not saying that. I'm saying that character happens to be have a skin color as an intrinsic part of them. Lawrence Fishburne, though, as Perry White, thought was perfect, right? Absolutely perfect. He imbued that character, right? So Ryan's statement makes other points, such as, if you have a problem with the casting, however, take it up with me. If you have no one else to blame. So yeah, the best person for the job line of reason. So where is the best line of best person for the job line of reasoning now? We don't believe it was that. They don't believe it was the best person. They believe they were chosen because of, like most things on Disney Plus, as an expression of identity politics. Well, it's right here, as Royden goes on to say, I have been clear as the author. I was looking for the best actors to. You're not the author. You're the producer. Does this, doesn't he? Maybe he's the producer as well, to inhabit the roles, bring them to life of these characters. Yes, I know. Neil Gaiman also chose a black person to be Death. And everybody looks at it and goes, well, that's obviously not going to work. You know, it's like Robert Pattinson playing Batman. The minute everybody saw it, went, well, that's obviously not going to work, right? And I saw Batman, and for me, obviously it didn't work. I thought Jeffrey Wright's Commissioner Gordon much more compelling than Robert Pattinson Batman, right? Although Darren Aronofsky really wanted this is what I think they should do with Batman, quite frankly. I think they should just do an Elseworlds Batman, do all different kinds of one. Do a Gotham by Gaslight Batman, and you can choose pick whoever you want. But Darren Aronofsky wanted to do a black Batman movie where he's a mechanic or something instead of a billionaire. Sounds interesting. Like I'm up for that kind of thing, but you can't say it's the same character when you fundamentally change the character. It's great if you take the essence of the character and fundamentally change and say we're doing something fundamentally different, right? But don't say these people have a totally different life experience and there's no difference. Yes, there is. You can't have it both ways, but they do, right? Because they have no standard. They have no single standard. The fact that we expect a backlash is a problem. Yeah, I think is the problem. If you weren't expecting it, you wouldn't be looking for it everywhere. Right? Yeah, I do think there's rows. I'm not familiar with Percy Jackson, and I'm not all that familiar with Doctor Who. Well, I'm glad you're not coming from a position of complete ignorance then, right? But I am familiar with the leaks folk make to try and justify their toxicity as they hurl at black actors. Who's doing this, right? Who have been picked to play these kind of parts. I'm like, did anybody get mad at Anthony Mackie for taking on Captain America? I mean, yeah, he looked crap at that costume, and it was a bad idea, generally speaking, and it was pandering to Black Lives Matter, which was not a very egalitarian, non-racist organization, who the leaders of which embezzled all the money and bought themselves big houses, right? All that happened. I'm familiar with the people with being interested in the property too. Only to second guess myself as a black fan entering that space just because actors who look like me have to mute their posts. What? And take breaks on social medias have to be strong because they know someone's going to have something disparaging to say. I'm sorry, I've never seen such hate and vitriol and just nastiness that came from the toxic Jodie Whittaker fan base, right? It just blew me away, right? The only place I have seen it was with the Labour Party during the 2019 election when they were super anti-Semitic, and now they just pretend it never happened, right? No, it never happened. I can't describe what it feels like to know that your mere presence in a space is going to generate negative responses. Well, I can, because there's a bunch of crazy living on Twitter. I can't say what it feels like. Well, you don't need to describe it. We all know it because people like you harass people like me all the time. And they think you're on the right side of history by doing the exact thing you say is wrong. I guess we're only getting to this article with this video. I'm 40 minutes in. Get out of here. My presence in a space going to generate negative responses to somebody, not in a that person's work isn't good kind of way, but I don't like black people kind of way. Can you show that to me? I know that's how you feel, right? I know that's how you feel. We used to say facts don't care about your feelings, but the inverse of it turned out to be true instead. Feelings don't care about your facts, do they? And that's where we are. Will there be positives? Yes, and those positives are always a welcome to a welcome sight to behold. I mean, I think the response to Shoot has been overwhelmingly positive, hasn't it? At the same time, having balanced your celebration with "don't look at the comments" is so discouraging. Again, I think the overwhelming percentage of people were happy with Shooter's happy and positive about Shooter's casting. I think there was maybe 20% who are unsure of that, and I think of that 20%, probably 10% of that, like half of them, like 10%, think the character's intrinsically white. Not a point of view I have, but okay. And I think maybe a tiny percentage of those may think the character's intrinsically white because they don't like black people, right? But like, I understand that's your interpretation of it. Is that's what's really happening? Maybe you should talk to the people who you think is racist, right? Come and sit down with them and have a genuine, non-pejorative discussion. You will find there's more that unites us than divides us, universally, right? Flies. I'm not familiar with Doctor Who or Percy Jackson. I'm just completely ignorant. Okay. It's gonna be there's problem in itself. Will there be? Okay, so but I need you to like substantiate what you're saying, right? I can substantiate that Jeremy Corbyn is a racist, is an anti-Semite by going to the facts of what he did, of what he said and what he done. I can say that Jeremy Corbyn's supporters, who I don't think are generally speaking anti-Semitic, did engage in anti-Semitism because factually that's what happened, right? But I can bring the receipts, right? I can point to something, just say, it made me feel bad, but I know what you really mean. Unconscious bias, dog whistle. No! Give me something real. If it's not real, it's not there. Something about Jeffries and Gatwa's situations really upsets me. Well, I think you're upset beforehand. Maybe it's because they were announced so close together. Well, they didn't intend to shoot his one that day. From what I said. Which I mean, I saw a double dose of "this is wrong" takes on the internet. Maybe it's because how do you know it's not wrong? You know nothing about Doctor Who or Percy Jackson. Maybe it's because in both cases they have the full support of the creators of their properties, but it still isn't enough to stop folks from trying to run a young black girl off social media. How has that happened? And if it's happened, that's deplorable. I agree with you. But if you're not bringing the receipts, I don't think you have any, right? That's really where I am right now. I appreciate Ryan having Jeffries back as same thing with Neil Gaiman. You should have gone with the Neil Gaiman example. I think he says it much clearer. However, we shouldn't have to tell people not to harass a child. Show me they're harassing a child. Oh, maybe that's what... Is that what this thing was up here? Is this the woman? Is this the woman who was cast? Hang on. Playing. It's just getting a little whizzy wheel. Forget it. Let's just go with it. That it might be her. Okay, listen. If she was forced on social media through raising, that is deplorable. But how is that possible? Right? I don't understand how it's possible. You have all these controls of speech on social media. I don't understand how it's possible. I need to see it to believe it. Right? I can't take your word for it because you've lied a lot. Okay, or you perceive things in a inaccurate way. I think it is. Let's go 50-50. I appreciate Rona having Jeffries back. As that's something I often beg allies to do. Where you shouldn't have allies, you should have friends to do when they say they want to be here for black girls. I want to be here for people. However, we shouldn't have to tell people not to harass a child. I shouldn't have to see my black friends who like Doctor Who turning off comments on their congratulation posts. I don't think you did. And again, I asked people to send me examples of anti-Semitism. I could come up with those for you, baby. Examples of racism. And I got one. It doesn't seem like a deluge to me, right? And again, one is not good, but people are people, right? You get plenty of racists on the other side of the aisle as well. I appreciate on the post. Jeffrey and Gatwa shouldn't feel they were hired to fill some kind of diversity code. Well, in the case of Disney Plus, they probably were, right? They probably were. We've seen it many, many times over. But Ryan Davis singing their praises should be enough. But I know for some it will never be. It will never be. Like, I understand that. Oh, so is this it? 1 second. Is this the woman? The woman who's in it? I don't know. But honestly, enough already. Is it her? I really. If she was harassed on social media, that is terrible. That's so. So I didn't get to any of the other. I was hoping to. Maybe I'll do it on my live stream tonight, which will be yesterday for you. So this one looked really funny. Spare me white feminism. Shooty Gatwa deserves to be Doctor Who star. So this is when white women and black men went to war again. It's a rematch after the Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama fight for who will get the nomination in, what was it, 2008? 2008? I can't remember whatever year it was. But I remember at the time there was a big fight, like, who had it worse, black men or white women? So we had Tina Fey spoke in defense of Hillary Clinton, but Chris Rock spoke for black men and said, listen, everybody loves white women. Black men have it much worse. White men love white women. Black men really love white women. Everybody loves white women. Nobody loves black. Now, you can find it on YouTube. It's very funny, right? It is very, very funny. Different identities being pitted against each other doesn't help anyone. Yet I saw disappointment comments because the Doctor is no longer a white woman. Yeah, that didn't last long, but boy, did it crash and burn, right? There's racism everywhere, right? And I often find the anti-racists are also. How long is this? Are we going to read this? Looks a bit long. Yeah, I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no. Because it is fun. I'm kind of tempted, though. Can I be honest? Okay, it's sucking me in. I'll go as long until it gets boring. Can I be honest? I'm tired of the representation Olympics that follows every announcement of either the next James Bond, Doctor Who, or other well-known characters. Yes, that's because there's a lot of tokenism, which the person at Mary Sue said wasn't happening. I'm tired of a black insert character name doesn't represent me takes. They're laced with racism. I think Shooter's going to represent me as a doctor. I don't understand this thing. He's not representing. I think he's going to represent me. I'm a fat Jewish guy living in my basement, screaming into the camera about Doctor Who. I still think he's going to represent me. I don't think we've got a very similar life experience. I think he's going to represent me because I think he's going to be an awesome human character, who's Gallifreyan, obviously. And of course, it's okay to criticize and to be disappointed because you think a bad actor got the role. But I don't think there's much room to debate about Shooty Gatwa's talent. Yes, I agree with you there. The racist takes aren't just insulting, they're sad. I don't and don't make any sense. Doctor is an alien. The ability. Okay, because you don't know Doctor Who so well. Fine. Okay. When I heard the news, I was really happy for Ncuti. I loved him in Sex Education, which is why they're hiring him to bring you in. And I can't wait to see what he brings to the role of Doctor Who. And I bet Rusty Davies is going to see. This is really something. I bet Rusty Davies is going to do something good enough that'll make you stay. Right. As a black woman, representation of diversity in TV are, of course, important to me. I believe that's true. And one thing I didn't want to do was take this moment away from Ncuti by saying, this is great, but I wish the new Doctor had been a black woman. So now you see him right off Joe Martin. Joe Martin made a guest appearance as the Future Doc back in 2020, but Ncuti will become the first black Doctor to play the titular role full-time. Diversity on screen has a long way to go. I don't think so. I think it's gone too far, right? But this isn't the right time to make those comments. Different identities being pitted against each other doesn't help anyone, and it's also racist, right? Yet I saw disappointing comments because the Doctor is no longer a woman. Because it failed, right? It failed totally. Why do people assume white women are the pinnacle of representation? They don't. It's just white women do, right? White women do. Why is white feminism an exclusionary form of feminism that only reinforces the power of white people? Summarized. Okay, a lot of people will feel seen by the casting of shit. I feel seen. Okay, I feel seen by this. Because why? Because I want good Doctor Who, right? I feel seen by the casting of Ncuti, and I think that's a beautiful thing. Today, Ncuti said, it's amazing. This role is an institution, and it's iconic, and it means so much to so many people, including myself. It makes everyone feel seen. That was a bad idea. But he's raised in this insane world. What can you do? I mean, like, he lives in it. I'm very grateful to have the baton handed over to me. I'm going to try and do my best. I believe you will, Ncuti. I'm really excited for you. Representation and casting isn't the be-all and end-all. It won't solve the inequality issues with the casting a black man as a Doctor. What is the inequality? I mean, I really want to know. Or a black James Bond. Well, black James Bond, again, I said, just goes against the character. Unless you want to say there's no marginalization for black people. In that case, why is there a black James Bond? Like, why the tokenism? Or a trans Harry Potter? Fuck off. Well, yeah, that's not going to change the character at all, is it? Trans Harry Potter, leave me alone. God. In fact, a report published last year found representation of black, Asian, and minority ethnics actually went back. Oh, shut up. A report. Think I trust your report? Yeah, okay, fine. She's basically saying, white women, shut up. It's our turn now, right? And honestly, I should have been their turn first, quite frankly. if we're looking at things that way, fine. The wacky race to find wicked Wacists continues. Will they ever find any? If they do, I'll condemn them right along with anybody else. But I think in the meantime, we're probably not going to see any. Why? Because it's not bloody real. My name is Tzvi Lebetkin, the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring that little bell. Ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop.